Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Really Feminine podcast. I am super excited to finally be here, bringing to you guys the answers to all of your questions that you've had over the last year or so. But first, before I begin that, I want to share something with you that is so unbelievably near and dear to my heart. And that is a nonprofit organization that I founded almost 10 years ago called Bochis.org. Now, many people have said, what is Bochis? Well, that was my mom's first name. That was her nickname. She passed away about 10 years ago, right before I founded this organization. And so what we do at Bochis, we had safe houses for sex trafficking victims that had been rescued for the last 10 years. We retired that in 2023, and now we are focused on bringing healing and freedom to exploited women all around the world. So what is exploited? That could be maybe you're carrying something inside of you that hurt you so long ago. It could be something that violated you. It could be something in your marriage. It could be a traumatic event that you're still dealing with. Whatever you feel that you've been exploited by, we believe that not only what you find on our socials, but here on the Really Feminine podcast, will we be able to share with you the tips and the tools to get you set free once and for all. And so this is an organization that we all are part of. We're still running it. We're still working behind the scenes with exploited victims. And we would love for you to come alongside of us and help us to make this dream a reality for so many women that feel trapped in a corner. They feel trapped by the circumstances of their past. They feel trapped in addiction or in abusive relationships. I promise you that we're going to come alongside of you and we're going to help you figure out what you need to do in order for you to be made free so that you can live your life in the abundance of what I believe God has for you. So that being said, I hope that you enjoy this. You can find us at bochis.org. All of the information will be listed below, but we are always looking for people to come alongside of us and help us to continue this mission in helping to fund with us or pray with us or whatever you find is necessary for you. So now I want to introduce to you my cousin, Michelle. Michelle has been with me for 30 years.
30 years. Yes.
Michelle married
32 years.
32 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle married my cousin. How long have y'all been married?
27 years.
Okay. But we met a few days after my son, who's now 33, turned 1. So she's been in my life for quite a long time. And so what we're going to do is together we are going to, I'm so excited about this because we finally get to answer all these questions. We get to talk about fun stuff, you guys. This is, how about the name of the podcast? Really Feminine.
I love it. I love it. It's perfect.
So let me discuss why we chose to sit here at my table in my kitchen. If you guys have seen any of my socials over the past year, you probably recognize the space behind me. This is my kitchen. This is my kitchen table. And I did not want to do this in a podcast studio. I wanted to do this right here in my kitchen because growing up, my favorite place to be was around the kitchen table with my grandmother, my mother's sister, all my mom's sister-in-laws, all the wives of my mom's brothers. They would, periodically, we would just sit there and there was like these yellow Tupperware containers. Do you remember those? For the creamer and the sugar? And my grandmother always had those on the table and we always had the most random coffee cups and she had a percolator coffee maker. Mm-hmm. So coffee, and then there was always something cooking on the stove. And honestly, that's what we did. We just sat there and I just listened as a little girl and we just talked. And that's kind of one of my safe places. That's one of my happy places and I still love today sitting around a table with my friends or my family and just talking.
Yeah, I agree. That's my memories also with my mom and her friends when I was a little girl. I mean, I would just sit at the table. They'd be smoking their cigarettes and gossiping, and I would just sit and listen. I loved it.
In a haze of smoke.
In a haze of smoke. Such core memories.
Back in the day when everybody smoked and it was super cool to be a smoker. Those poor people, they've been ostracized now. But yeah, isn't that like, so I love this idea. I want to bring my friends. I want to bring family here around this table and talk. And then also what we're going to be doing is talking about etiquette. I'm going to share etiquette tips with you on this podcast because it's really feminine. I love it. And also we're going to talk about hosting in your home, and we're going to have conversations. So it's kind of a deeper conversation outside of a 2 or 3 minute video that you're seeing on all my socials. Also, I'm going to share with you my freedom formula, which is what I designed several years ago. It was a kind of a culmination of a whole bunch of modalities and techniques from all different, from my faith. I'm a Christian, so from the Bible, also from a lot of physics, a lot of neuroscience. I'm just bringing it all together. And what I have found, Michelle, is the people that I know you've heard some of the feedback. Mm-hmm. The people that I've shared this with have said to me, I have never felt more free in my life.
It's been life-changing.
Yeah. And I'm like, I know, me too. So I want to I just collected a bunch of information, and I believe if I can help you with these steps, that, and if you will apply them to your life, that I'll share over the course of this podcast, then I promise you, you too will feel completely set free. Now it's time for the freedom formula, and this is where you really want to press in. If you're not watching this on YouTube, try to take some time to go back and watch it on YouTube. It'll benefit you. I will do my best to explain it to you for those of you who are listening in your car maybe, but I want to share with you one of the most important things I have ever learned, and that's the emotional frequency scale. I actually picked this up from David Hawkins years ago, and I have kind of created it for myself, but I learned it straight out of his book, Power and Force. And so I really, really, really want to share this with you because it radically changed how I think. Now, I took it upon myself. I did tell you guys earlier that I am a Christian, so I filter this information through the scriptures for me because that is how it makes sense to me. So I want to share this part with you because it really will help you to understand what you are looking at, what you're feeling, and how those feelings can quite literally draw you down into a place of feeling almost dead. So first I want to explain, we did this at the experience, Michelle. I showed everybody at the experience what this was about. Mm-hmm. And this was really like a blast through for some people.
Definitely.
They felt like,
absolutely.
So it just explains our emotions.
Yes, and to put a color to it.
Yeah, because I'm going to explain to you what the pink zone is because I taught about the pink zone. So I want to start by showing those of you watching on YouTube, I'll show you this. But then if you're not, I'm going to explain it to you. But this is what I call my emotional frequency scale. This is, for me, the pink zone is the goal. The red zone is where we want to stay away from. And so I use this a lot with my private clients. And this is right out of the gate, I'll explain this to them. And then whenever I'm coaching them and they're responding or reacting to something, I will say it feels like you're in the red zone or the orange zone. We need to get you back to the pink zone. So I want you to remember when I say the pink zone, we are talking about the highest level that you can be kind of existing on through your emotions. Okay, so first let me explain something to you. We did this when we had the safe house. We had these little caps put on by what we call the brain doctor. He kept saying, stop calling me the brain doctor. I'm not a brain doctor. He's phenomenal. But he put these little caps on their head with these little nodules inside the caps. I think it's an EEG is what he did. It was to read a graph based on the frequency that thinking actually produced from the brain. I don't know if you guys know much about that, but it is phenomenal to me to understand how that works. But to see it with these traumatized girls that we worked with, he would induce a sight or a sound or something that would make them think a specific way. And when they did that, the scale or the graph actually started to pick up really, really high. It's like, have you ever seen a lie detector test where it goes, and it's just like, the pin is, the little graph is just going crazy. And so this is what we were able to witness, and we were able to see how accurate this actually is. So what I love about this is that it's measurable by megahertz. So if you look at the very bottom of the scale is shame and guilt and apathy. And that will run between 20 to 50 megahertz. Now, this is for all the people who are massively professional and have doctorates and all this. Please forgive me, because this is just the way I use this to understand and make it easy to digest. So when I say 20 to 50, so I use the analogy about ever being in a hospital room when somebody's dying. Have you ever been near that?
Yeah, the machine where it's like beep,
Yep.
beep, beep.
Yes. So anytime you're walking down the halls of a hospital, all you hear is beep, beep, beep. And that's just a normal heartbeat, right? So you can hear that. But I have been in a couple of rooms when somebody's actually dying and everybody was just hyper focused on that screen because it was beep and then it would just quiet and that line would be flat. And then it would go beep and then the line would go flat again. And the distances between the beep and the flats got greater and greater. And so the actual measurement of that heartbeat started to get lower and lower. And so that's the analogy I use to that shame, guilt, and apathy. And so the feeling of that, and I'm going to put my glasses on because I need them to read. The feeling of that is helpless, hopeless, in victimhood, blame, miserable, and humiliated. That is 20 to 50 on this emotional frequency scale, okay? 20 to 50, that's as low as it goes. So you're almost at death. When that thing is like line, beep, like you're literally almost at death. Okay, it goes up to 75 is the number or the megahertz on grief. Sadness, regret, stuck in the past, very low, have very little hope for the future. I don't know if you're like me, but I've actually experienced that quite often. And let me tell you, once you leave here, it doesn't mean you're never coming back. You're a human being living in a world. Of course, you're going to feel that. Of course, it's going to come back from time to time based on circumstances. The next one is fear. That's 100. Worry, anxiety, cannot stop overthinking. Can I get a witness, somebody? My gosh. Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
women especially. We cannot stop overthinking everything.
Daily.
Yeah. You believe the worst case scenario is your safe place. Holy cow. I lived too far in that space. Too long I lived there. Believing that the worst case scenario is really what was keeping me safe. The next one is desire. You want more and more. What you have is never enough. Looking to what you don't have instead of what you do have. That's 125 on the scale, and that is desire. And that's a little bit more orange on the colors, okay? Anger is a cream color, and that is 150. But let me tell you, friend, you're moving up. When you come from shame, guilt, apathy to grief, to fear, to desire, to anger, you're actually moving up the scale. So that's good.
That is. That's
Isn't
kind of
that
weird
good?
to think about, that you're actually like climbing up.
Because you're expressing an emotion of anger. You're not just suppressing it.
Yeah.
You see, so you're
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
expressing that, and you're able to identify what you're angry. Like now I feel happy with myself when I can say, I feel angry right now. Like that's my truth.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So anger is hate, aggression, frustration, about to explode. How many times have I said that? Out of control, and it's an actual moving energy. It's like a verb, okay? Next one is pride. The Bible says pride comes before the fall. So this to me feels like almost at that center place where we're about to go into courage. Pride is you believe control of the exterior is your safety. Your belief is that you are the only one that you can depend on. That's pride. Like you have to hammer your opinion. You have to hammer your belief. You have to draw strong lines. You have to control everybody and control everything. And you have to grab the attention for yourself. That's the only way you believe that you're safe. Okay? From there, it goes to courage at 200. You're stepping into your new power. You're experiencing new hope. I love this one. This one's green. Then this goes to my favorite, Bochi Blue. Neutral reality is 250. You're feeling upbeat and sunshine. You're beginning to feel inner confident. Next one is willingness. You now feel you are starting to win big. You're pushing past doubts, willing to live your best life. Come on. Next one from that is 350, and it's acceptance. Acceptance is you are blooming into a new you. You're creating beauty and life. You're in a power position when you start accepting things. Reason is 400. You're smart. You're beginning to think clearly, and you love learning new things. Next one is my favorite. It is love, and that's 500. And your heart is now in a pure intent. You radiate joy. You can trust that your spirit man are forgiving and they are free. And that means really like you can trust that spirit man within you. The next one is 540. It's joy. People notice that you are glowing. Your heart is lining up with God's heart perfectly. Life feels wonderful, even inside of trials. Now, who doesn't want some of that joy, right? Yep. The next one is 600. Now we're in the pink zone, friends. This is peace. Great contributions to the world. You are connecting to God. You're making a real difference. This, friend, is real peace. I always say that peace is not an emotion. Peace is a person. And in my belief, peace is Jesus. So when Jesus is in the center of something, you're going to have peace. The next one is the highest, which is my goal and my aim every day. And that is enlightenment and transcendence. Now, I wrote Holy Spirit pouring over you all the time. So you're in that flow of receiving and flowing into knowledge and wisdom every single day. You've got a strong positive energy that lifts you up and it lifts everyone up around you. You are receiving effortlessly. That's 700 to 1,000. So that right there is the frequency chart that I created inspired by what David Hawkins did. Now, let me share this very quickly here. Starting back, and for all the believers out there who want to hear this, let's start back at the very bottom. Shame is a conviction of sin. This is how God turns everything bad into good so that you can live in his purpose. So shame is conviction of sin. Guilt is godly sorrow. Apathy is spiritual dryness. I love how that turns around. Grief is mourning with hope. Fear is a reverent fear of the Lord. Desire is righteous hunger. Anger is righteous indignation. Pride is humility in Christ. Courage is bold faith. Neutrality is peace in Christ. Willingness is submission to God's will. Acceptance is contentment in Christ. Reason is godly wisdom. Love is agape love. Joy is the fruit of the Spirit. Peace is shalom in Christ. And enlightenment is being Christ-like. So for me, when you understand, when I am processing myself, I've recently had a trial in my life where I feel like I was really down in the red zone and it was being super hard for me to get myself out of there. And I found myself just wallowing in that low space. And I had to stop myself and go, I'm in the red zone. I need to do what I know to get up into that pink zone. So those are some basic tools that I use in order to identify where I'm at. But then the basic tools to get yourself out is you've got to focus more on where you're going and less on where you've been. You've got to focus more on what you want and less on what you don't want. You have to focus more on what is right than when you focus on what is wrong. Then you have to take a moment, do your breathing, which I do all the time. And that's a simple 5-7-8 breathing, which is a deep breath in for 5 seconds through your nostrils, hold it for 7 seconds, and then exhale pressure hard through those 8 seconds. I will also tell you that in those times, when you're breathing in, you're literally breathing in all of the things that you don't want to deal with anymore. And as you're exhaling them, you can visually see all those worries, those names, those thoughts just getting pushed out of your system. And when you start focusing on the things that make you happy in those moments, it is an actual exercise. Just like I told that lady at the retreat who was a, very professional, amazing bodybuilder. I said, I can't come to you and ask you, how do I get these arms in one day? And she goes, no, you can't. You got to work at them. I've worked at these for a year. It doesn't take that long to change your brain and your mind, but it does take small baby practices all the time. And those small movements begin to rewire your brain and send you in a different direction. Because you have to remember, friend, that this is a Joe Dispenza quote, what you think, how you act, how you think, and how you feel creates your personality. And when your personality is established, that then creates your personal reality. When he said that, it just like rippled through me because I realized my personal reality is made up of my personality. Mm-hmm. So if I want to change my personal reality, I need to change my personality. And that is on me. It's not on anyone else but me. So I want to share with you this, that I share a lot of these deep techniques through my experience retreats. We are preparing right now to release a course for you so that you can purchase that and use that at your own convenience. But you definitely want to check out my retreats called The Experience. They're scheduled throughout the year. I don't know when you're watching this, but in that time, we do so much fun etiquette, but then I also bring down all the basic freedom formula tools to apply to your life so that you can experience heaven here on earth, because I truly believe that it is available for you. Now we are going to have a cup of tea, Michelle. Wow.
Beautiful.
We spill the tea.
I love it.
This might be my favorite part of the podcast because we get to answer everyone's questions that sends in. So if you're watching this or listening, go to carlashellis.com/podcast and give us your questions. You can remain anonymous and we will answer your questions on how to handle your situation. But first, let's have a little cup of tea.
This is so fancy.
Yeah, this is what's called a tea for one. So you're just going to hold that lid on top. This is a tea for one. It's my favorite thing ever. These are from Fortnum and Mason, my favorite store in the whole wide world. This is located in London, England. A little tiny bit of milk, a little bit of sugar. This is my favorite in the whole wide world is Fortnum and Mason. So this is bone china. It is amazing. You want some sugar?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start with the first question. You can just put that back down in there. And also just a little disclaimer, everybody. I think I've already said this, but we are filming in my home. I do have dogs, so you might hear my dogs occasionally from time to time. So let's look at the first question. What do we have? I love this part.
All right.
Let's hear what people are asking.
With the glasses on.
Look how cute that is. I'm obsessed.
This is maybe my favorite part.
Me too. I love it so
podcast.
much.
We're gonna have t-shirts next time, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready?
I am. Let's go.
All right. How do I deal with my daughter who looks and acts like her father, my abusive ex-husband? She is in her mid-30s. She lives on her own. We don't really call each other or even socialize. I speak to her and give her a monetary gift at Christmas and her birthday. I have a hard time telling her I love her.
Oh my goodness. How many people struggle with that? So can you read the first part again to me? How do I
deal with my daughter who looks and acts like her father, my abusive ex-husband?
Wow, that's tough. Wow, that's really tough. First I want to say to whoever wrote that, I am so sorry that you're still so hurt and in so much pain over your ex-husband's abuse. Like that is so tough to handle, and I really do empathize with anybody who's stuck in an abusive relationship. And also I want to say abuse is not just hitting. Abuse is emotional. Abuse is verbal. Abuse is psychological. There's so many different types of abuse, and so we have to call it what it is. So I am very thankful that you left that marriage. Now, to answer the question, that's a really tough one. Number one, I want to highly recommend that you get involved with EMDR therapy. It's EMDR, and it is a specialized type of therapy that I highly recommend because it truly is the type of therapy that goes in and it rewires the brain. It deals with traumatic events and it opens up the subconscious mind and it handles each event as they come up. The thing I love about EMDR is it only works with the things that you're ready to deal with what your brain is ready to deal with.
And quickly, so you don't have to go to therapy for like
10 years
to work through an issue.
Absolutely. So it does. I myself am I used EMDR in the safe house. I am actually in EMDR now, dealing with some of my past trauma. I would recommend that you're not only doing that, but you're in therapy or so definitely subscribing to this freedom formula in the future. But for now, I want to give you some tools to actually handle that. And that could go with any situation. It doesn't have to be just your daughter. That's a trigger because your daughter looks like him and acts like him. So that's obviously triggering you. But at the end of the day, she's still your daughter. And she did not choose to be born of the both of you. That was y'all's choice. So I would say that the first tool I would give you is write down all the things you love about your daughter. And you can actually manifest what you choose to see when you see something through a different perspective. So if you choose to change your perspective and you choose to see things differently, then you will see them differently and your emotions will follow. So I want to encourage you to look to the things that you love about your daughter. Don't just think about them. You have to write them down. And this is true of your parents. This is true of other children. This is true of past relationships. This is true. I highly want to recommend people to do this with ex-spouses who still have to raise children together. Find the things that you love about that person and only focus on those things. I have had to deal with that in my personal life many, many times, and it actually works. So write down the things you love about them. Write down the things, to be honest with yourself, about the things that you're not very happy with or that are triggering you. And then I would recommend that you speak to the things that you love about your daughter out loud every morning for 21 days. So you look at that sheet of paper and you say, I love my daughter because she is this. I love my daughter because she is this. And I would also encourage you after that, or during that 21 days, I would encourage you to find a way to serve her and put away your scoreboard. Like, don't think about what you've done for her. You're her mother. You deserve to do everything and above and beyond for your kids because you are their parent. I would say put down your offenses, put down your hate, and go get the healing yourself for the hurt that you have still obviously are carrying from your ex-husband. Ask God to show you her the way he sees her. So literally, I would say, God, show me my daughter the way that you see her. Whether you believe in God or not, he is real and he is the God of the universe, and he will absolutely respond to your request and you will see him act on your behalf. But stay focused on those things that you love, I think. Michelle, what would you say
That's
about
good.
that?
I would agree with all that. I think definitely absolutely get into counseling, EMDR, but also maybe like put it in your bathroom on your mirror.
That's
So
good.
every day you can, when you're getting ready, you can read it, maybe post a picture
Yep,
of your daughter.
absolutely. That's great.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Post a picture with your daughter, I think, in a happy time. Like find a happy season. Maybe you might say, I don't have a happy. Yes, you do. Maybe it's the day she was born. Maybe it is sometime when she was a little girl. Maybe it was a specific memory. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
I think that's perfect. Yeah, that's really sad because I mean, obviously the daughter, she's not responsible for her mom feeling that way. So, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just really put obviously a strain in the relationship.
Yeah. And also focus on how you can direct her into happy moments. So the one that wins is the one that takes the first step. And so I would recommend that you go see her, say, and even be honest with her and say, I'm really struggling because you remind me so much of your father, but I love you so much and I want to recreate a relationship with you. And so can we just start focusing on what we can do to move towards a happy place?
Right. And it's never too late.
Right. It's
Even if she's in
never
her
too
30s,
late.
it's never too late.
That's so good. It really is. And I would also say it is super important to really think about your safe place. Like when you go to think about your daughter or your ex-husband, take those thoughts and literally go, okay, I'm walking to a box. Find yourself a box in your mind or in your closet that you can even put a box in your closet somewhere. Maybe it's a color. Maybe it's a pink color because we want everybody to stay in the pink zone. And every time you have a negative thought about your ex-husband or about your daughter, close your eyes and imagine yourself taking that vision and putting it in that box, and close the box and leave it on that shelf, because that is where it belongs.
That's good.
It belongs out of your mind. But you can never remove something negative without replacing it with something good. Because if you have an open spot, typically the darkness of the world will try to come in and occupy that space. Another negative thought, because it's a magnetic field. So another negative thought will come in and try to occupy that space. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. I really hate that situation is happening, and I really empathize with that. Do we have another question?
Yes.
All
We
right.
do have another question. Let me see. Okay.
Okay. I love the sigh.
I have a friend who has developed a problem with halitosis.
Oh.
This has become noticeable the past 2 to 3 months. It was not a problem before that. Should I bring it to her attention? And if so, how do I address this awkward situation?
God, I gotta tell you, I don't know. I have a few key steps.
You know what I think it
This
is?
is the first time I'm hearing these, by the way. This is what I love,
know.
is that they're
So
not giving
good.
it to us
I
in
know.
advance. So this is off the cuff.
So for me, if it was you,
Yeah,
I would just tell you straight up.
right. Yeah, you would.
Even if you weren't one of my best friends,
Right.
I would tell you, because I would think, how would I feel?
Right.
So it was so interesting. My daughter she told me this over this past weekend. She's having one of her acquaintances. She's having she's having a smell, and she doesn't want to tell her about it. But she said it's just really awkward. I'm like, why would you not tell her? Obviously, she's
That's
not
tough.
aware of it.
Yeah. Ooh, that's
And she was
tough.
like, no, there's no way I could ever do that. And I'm like, if you didn't tell me something that was wrong with me, it's no different than saying you have food in your teeth.
Right. I call it a BFA, a best friend alert.
Yes.
Even if it's not a best friend, I say, okay, I have a BFA for you. What's a BFA? It's a best friend alert. Okay. Oh, okay. Tell me. And so the key points that I would give this, this is so funny. Because for me, I would be like, I just can't, I can't say, I'm like Bella, I can't say something. I would definitely either text it.
You would text it? What
This
would
is
you say?
this is me. I'm just telling you what I would do. I'd be too embarrassed to tell them to their face. But I would say I'm intentionally texting you because I don't want to embarrass you face to face. But I feel like you might have something going on inside of your mouth because it's projecting an odor that does not belong to you. Like, it's not you. It's definitely not you. And I know that if it were you, if it were me with the halitosis, which, by the way, for those of you that don't know what that means bad breath. If it were me, I would really hope that you would have the courage to tell me so I can fix it. I know there's people that we've known, Michelle, that we've had to say that to.
But does your husband ever tell you that your breath smells?
He did when I was giving birth to my daughter.
Was that the only time?
No, he's told me in the morning, he pushes me away and goes, go brush your, he talks like his dad whenever he's, go brush your teeth, Ray. Like, that's what he says. Like, I'm like, I haven't even gotten out of bed. You're talking to me. I don't want to talk to you until I go wash my mouth. But who is not brushing their teeth every single day? Like, that's disgusting to me. Okay, that being said, twice a day, for real. Flossing is hugely important because if you don't floss, food gets stuck in your teeth and then it starts to decay and rot. Food rots between your teeth, and that also creates halitosis. But I would just text. I would personally text. I know you would prefer to say something face to face.
Yeah. If it was me, would you text me?
No, but you're in my level 1. You're a level 1, so I can tell you anything.
But I wondered, is halitosis, does that come from your gut? Like, if you are,
100%.
there could be other issues,
There could be
right?
other issues, yeah.
So not only not
Or an
brushing or
infection in the
flossing.
gums or in the throat,
Yeah.
and definitely part of the gut.
Yeah.
And if you have halitosis, try to drink lemon water for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That'll like fix a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And gargle with salt water.
Gargle,
Warm
yes.
salt water.
Yes. And go to the dentist and say, I have halitosis. What do I do? Because it definitely is like a little bit of definitely something going on in the whole thing. So I hope that was a good answer. That's a tough one. I'm just going to say that's a tough one. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little tea time. I love it so much. Send us your questions, all those difficult things you need some help with, and maybe you just don't know who to ask. You can ask us. This might be y'all's favorite part of the podcast because everyone wants to know about etiquette. And I will open this by informing you of what I always share on my socials, that etiquette is nothing but a tool that you get to use whenever you feel you need to use it. So I wouldn't be I feel like people get super, super worried about using etiquette and being like, oh, what if I get that wrong? What if I get that wrong? I want you to know that I truly believe that etiquette is just, the actual word is a French word that means little signs that tell you the way that you should go. It doesn't mean it's your rule of thumb, but it is a tool to make you feel more feminine, really feminine, to make you feel equipped where you don't feel equipped. And when you feel equipped, you feel like you belong. So I love this part of the podcast because I get to share some tools and tips with you guys on how to handle things, especially for you ladies listening, as a gracious host or any of the unlimited topics that we can talk about with etiquette. So Michelle, let's talk about what are the first questions that we're going to dig into.
Well, what makes somebody a truly gracious host?
Oh my gosh. You know what? That's one of the things that I love most about my life is hosting.
You're amazing at it.
I love it so much. And I think it's because my grandmother and my mother, so I'm a root dweller. So I always got to go into the root and figure out, why am I like this? My grandmother and my mother did such an incredible job at making us feel so cozy and comfortable all the time. Like it didn't matter what the occasion was. They were going to make us feel cozy and comfortable at all times. And I really believe that that's the root of where I have received that. So hosting for me, which is where we get the name The Experience for our retreats, is because people have watched some of our videos and said, I want to experience you hosting me. So that's why we call it The Experience, right? So people can experience me hosting them. It is one of the greatest parts of my life.
You know what I was just thinking? So, because we've been in each other's lives for so long, I remember, and a lot of people think you have to have money, you have to have all the right dishes, everything has to look perfect. But I remember when we first met, you always, always hosted us.
And I was
when you
broke.
Had no money.
broke.
broke. But you always did it, and it was always beautiful. So that's
thank you.
just it just encourage anyone. Is
That's good,
anybody
Michelle.
anybody can be a wonderful hostess.
Yes, you don't have to have all the right stuff. It's really the condition of your heart. It really is. It's about being other-centered instead of self-centered, and understanding like the overflow of who you are as a person really is to bless other people. It is, one of my favorite sayings is, broke people set out to break other people. Broken people do, sorry. Broken people set out to break other people. Free people set out to set other people free. So it's the same thing as like self-centered people set out to serve themselves. Other-centered people set out to make other people feel loved and warm and welcome. And so some of the tools that I always use is to make sure that your space is tidy. What you never want to do is invite someone over to your home. Like, it doesn't matter where you live. You could even live in a cardboard box and make that tidy. Like, you could live with dirt floors and still make it tidy. So listen, I've been so guilty of shoving things into a closet.
Oh yeah,
Like, that closet, if it dare open, you're going to get
your
hit.
spare bedroom closet. Or a few drawers.
If you dare open that door, you're going to get a tidal wave of stuff. You're probably going to get flattened. Yeah, those days when I was in the throes of raising kids. So if it means throwing everything in a closet or under a bed, just do it. But take those little 20-minute timers a day, set a timer, and start organizing one spot at a time, just to give yourself some peace in your home. But a very tidy and comfortable environment. The next thing I recommend is greet your guest warmly and inviting. Like, this is the thing. I'm going to just say it, Michelle. I cannot stand it when you get a response from somebody about, like, hey, is it okay if I come over to spend the weekend with you? Well, um, I'm not sure. I just have a lot going on. Like, I don't like that. It's the most rejecting thing. The way that you can say that is, let me check my calendar and I'll get right back to you. I would love to spend some time with you. Even if you don't want to spend time with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me check my calendar. I would absolutely love to spend some time with you. I'll get right back to you. Then you pull back and think, how can I handle this? Then you don't have to lie and say, I've got a whole booked weekend. You can say, actually, this weekend's full for me. Let's try
Maybe
another
we can
weekend.
plan a different weekend.
A different time. Yeah. But to not be inviting, or when somebody walks in the door, you're not greeting them. You're just like, oh, hey.
Oh, yeah. And continue like
Doing what you're doing. That's so rude, because it definitely is an energy that we put off that is so about self.
absolutely.
And when somebody has the honor and the privilege, or you have the honor and the privilege of somebody deciding to step into your home, that is your paradise. That's your dwelling. That's your domain. Like, you should make it, your mind and your heart should radiate first, and like greet warmly. And the second thing is, I would say, if they're going to spend the night with you, I would say to make sure that everything is fully stocked. Toilet paper, toiletries. I always make sure I have Pepto-Bismol in case I have an upset stomach.
Well, you have a whole
Drawer.
basket, everything.
Yes, I do. Because again, I love to feed people. My house is a junk food junkie house, FYI. You definitely want to come to my house, because I have all the little Debbies,
All the snacks.
all the chips, all the candies, all the drinks. There's no dietary restrictions at my house. Okay, let's just throw that out there. This is an English thing that I picked up from my husband, because I was very bad at this. I always offer a drink when they walk in the door. That is so important.
It is.
My husband taught me that, because I was
is.
horrible at that. That's very English hospitality.
Simon. He would be like, sure, I'll have a drink. Like, as soon as he walks in, before you even
your
get
house.
a chance to offer anything, sure, I'll have a drink.
He's so embarrassing. I would say offer a drink. I always have a variety of drinks. I just make it my business. I collect them at the grocery store. But then the next thing is, ask about them. Spend time talking about them. Don't unload on your like, oh my gosh, let me tell you, I've been so stressed out about you coming, and there's just too much going on, and we could have chosen a different, like, just be chill. Ask about them. I always leave a welcome basket. Even if it's a tiny little bowl with one little mint in it,
Love that.
whatever
love that.
it is. If you don't have the budget, get a mint and a bottle of water and set it in a nice little plate. That's it. And a little glass next to that. That really, just little tiny details make all the difference. But this is me, because I love going over and beyond for my guest, is I will create a basket full of snacks and drinks and maybe a little local something, or a magazine or whatever.
Yeah, I think you need to show your basket sometime on this podcast so everybody can see it.
Yeah, well, it's all over my socials, I think. Yeah, we have it on my socials on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, I've actually done a collab with Whataburger, and how we used. I love Whataburger. It's my favorite junk food. Seriously, it's my favorite burger in the world. But I brought all their ketchups and all their stuff, because I wanted it to be Texas themed.
Yeah.
For our English family.
Yes.
So what's our next question?
Okay. How do I make guests feel seen and special, even in small ways?
A lot of what I just said, but I would definitely go over and beyond. Again, these are little things that don't cost anything. Just say, do you have any dietary restrictions? And I always do this. What are your favorite snacks? What are some things you love to have when you go to bed? Like, what are some things you love in the morning? Do you love coffee, hot tea? Do you just want water? Do you want lemon water? Because then I will make sure that that's available when they come. And then I'll also make sure that I get up before them and ask, can I serve your coffee now? Can I get you something? If I'm going to be gone, and I have had times when guests are here extended, and I have to be gone in the morning, I will leave a coffee cup out, I'll leave a creamer out, and leave the pod sitting on the side by the coffee
That is great.
by the Keurig, and
Yeah.
I will just text them and say, "Hey, good morning. Hope you had a great sleep. I've left your coffee out ready for you to make." That's what I do. Or if it's hot tea, I'll say the kettle is full. Just press the button. If I'm leaving, but if I'm not and I'm going to be there, I will definitely make sure I make that for them.
So what do you do like for dinner? Do you ask them what they want and
Sure.
make them?
Yeah, so I'll say for dinner, because I always want to use my love sandwich. So love, message, love. Okay, the bread is the love and the meat is the message. So I will say I am so happy that you're here, because here's the thing. I feel like today I receive this a lot, and it's very it. I'm a strong personality, Michelle, but I do get my feelings hurt when it comes to hospitality. That stays with me. It just stays with me when I feel like I'm not welcome in somebody's home, when I hear, talk. So because I hate that feeling, I will go over and beyond to say, I'm so excited about you coming. Let me tell you, I host a lot. Sometimes I feel so overwhelmed.
There's been a lot of times that we're like working up until
The hour.
you're having someone come over and you're like, oh my gosh, we got to clean up.
Yes, until the moment they walk in the
Yes.
door. But because I want it to be so nice for them. And that's why I love opening my house to people. So I will say, I'm so excited about you coming, looking forward to having you. Hey, question for dinner tomorrow night. Say they're coming tomorrow. Would you prefer we go out to a local restaurant that I love, or something you might be looking forward to? Or would you prefer that I make dinner at home? And whatever the answer is, I might say, what kind of food do you fancy? So some of them might be from out of the country. Sometimes they're from out of the state. And I'll say, I'd love to treat you to some good old Texas barbecue. So I have a favorite place. Would you be open to that? Or I'd rather just stay at home. Great. What kind of food can I make? So, Mexican food, Italian. Oh, you don't have to go through all that trouble. No, I want to. I'd love to serve you some dinner. So I'll just ask, or do you have any dietary restrictions that I can look to?
That's so good. Because
Yeah.
food obviously is such an important part of being a good host.
I'm going to tell you.
And there's a lot of people, like you'll go over to someone's house. So what do you want to do for dinner? There's no plans or anything.
Right. And I always have a snack out when they arrive. And you know me, that's just because of me. People might not see that way. I don't want people to feel like, I don't want to press where I'm at dietarily on them when they come to my house. So I'm not gluten-free. I'm nothing free. I am I indulge in everything.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to not eat too much sugar and trying to cut out my carbs and eat more whole. But I don't want to make everyone who comes to my house adhere to my dietary restrictions.
So what would be a good snack to put out?
So I would normally put, depending on who they are and what they like, so I would normally put out chips and dip, or I'll put out like a hummus and some crudité platter is something I'm starting to love now. I will put out maybe just a little bowl of fresh cookies or a couple of soft drinks or whatever, just because when people come in, they've either just come off the road or just off the airplane, and I just want to welcome them with something yummy.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
So do we have another question? Another part that we need?
What's the etiquette for receiving help or gifts as a host?
For receiving help or gifts. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking to the guest now, not the host.
Yes.
Okay. As the guest, I want you to walk into the house. This is also a culture thing. Let me adjust myself. I got to look at the camera. This is also a culture thing. I'm Mexican American. This is what we do. I've been blown up on social media about this. If you are the guest, I believe it's appropriate to say, is there anything I can do to help? Okay, there's that, check. If you are the host or hostess, I don't believe you should ask for help. I know that's a double-edged sword there, it feels like. But I promise you, women have a code. Ladies, we have a code. I really believe that when a girl walks into a kitchen, although everybody who's ever been a guest at my house, please don't come ask what I can do, because I've got it. I am trying to mentor.
Do you never accept help?
I do from you.
Yes.
Or my daughter, or, Azure, our cousin.
Anybody else, though?
No, I typically say,
got
no,
it.
I got it. Please go enjoy yourself. Go outside, get a drink, or, here, what can I get you to drink? But I don't want to do that. I want to take care of it. But as a guest, As your friend, sister, mom, whatever, I can say to you always, if you're a young lady, walk up to the hostess and say, how can I help? It just elevates you as a woman. As far as receiving a gift, because of what I do, people bring me gifts all the time, which I love. But at the same time, it is only appropriate to take a gift when you are approaching the home for the first time. After that, you don't have to worry about that unless it's just you're gracious and you're generous and you want to bring something at Christmas or a birthday or something. But I would say, as a guest, bring a gift when you go to the home for the first time. As a hostess, you definitely send a thank you card when you've received. Like right now, I received some beautiful gifts from the experience. I am about to send thank you cards. I want these to be written. Friends, write them and put a stamp and put them in the mail.
That's so important.
Like, let's get back to the basics.
Yeah,
let's get back to classy. We're bringing classy back. Ow!
They don't send thank you cards.
Right. We need to, not a text. Although if it's a little casual exchange, I'll say, hey, thank you so much for thinking of me. Whatever. I mean, but if somebody brings me a gift, I 100%.
It's so nice to receive something in the mail.
Because here's the thing. Let me wrap this up by telling you this. We got to bring classy back, ladies. And if it doesn't come through us, it will come through no one. So I am raising you up. I'm calling you up and I'm asking you to bring classy back. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this podcast today. I hope that it gave you some tools and some ideas. And I hope that you will continue to join us on this podcast that we are obsessed with the name called Really Feminine, because we want you to come back to the feminine. I'm going to tell you there's a few of my coaching clients that I have worked with that I actually institute, which we're going to talk about on another podcast, tools to make you feel feminine. What can you do to ignite the feminine fiber within you? So please subscribe and like and comment. It actually helps us to bring you this content. And I want you to go check us out on all of my socials at Carla Shellis. You can find me everywhere and plug in on a daily basis, because there I'm going to be sharing everyday etiquette. I'm sharing hosting tools. I'm sharing some of the freedom formulas through our emotional etiquette series. Lots and lots of fun stuff. And also make sure to go to carlashellis.com. And right there, you will be able to see all of the experiences that we are hosting in the days and weeks and months to come. Because I definitely want to meet you. I want to get knee to knee with you and spend a weekend with you. That would be so much fun. Also, don't forget, please go check out our near and dear organization, Bochis.org. Go and see how you can get involved and help us restore exploited women all around the world. We're asking you to consider financially partnering with us, praying with us, sending us suggestions, doing anything you can to help us move this mission forward. We truly appreciate it. And thank you for watching the Really Feminine podcast.
Bye.